Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing this morning? I do not have a girlfriend, a wife, an ex-wife. I don't have kids, and I don't have a mom who's requested a hug in the last few years. So all of my energy goes into being the best planetary defense commander y'all have ever had. And on that note, I just want to say, last year, I predicted we would get hit by a hurricane here, and then we would get hit by a hurricane here, and then we would get hit by a hurricane here, and then we would get hit by a hurricane here. Those are my predictions for last year. So, we had Crystal Ball, boom, come up through there. And then we had Hannah, boom, goes through there. And I don't want Florida to be off guard, but I wouldn't be surprised to see AS go up through there. And so now we've been hit by one hurricane, and it looks like we're about to get hit by another. So everybody should be on full aware guardness or whatever. Douglas is still at hurricane strength with about 95 mile per hour winds as it bears down on Hawaii, and it will probably make landfall on Oahu. So this would be our second hurricane strike in a matter of days, with a lot of attention on Isaias and the model splitting. So everybody is definitely a good time to stay fully aware and have your hurricane preparations ready. And I want to remind you, the last time we had the deepest part of the solar minimum was in 2008, 2009, right? We had the worst part of the solar minimum here. And then what happened after that? Occupy Wall Street, where everybody was protesting. So it was like they took the anger at the bankers and directed it at the poor people protesting. Do you see any similarities? So here we're basically at 2008, 2009 now. We're at the 2009 point. So I'm just letting you guys know Wall Street has a habit of pulling the rug over everybody's eyes and dividing and conquering. And so as we pull out of the solar minimum, it's like 2020 is a cross between 9/11 and the 2008 financial crisis squared. So as I've been saying for 8 years, don't trust billionaires. We've got a sunspot on the sun. As I said, the sun is waking up. Stealthy CME impact, a slow-moving CME that left the sun on July 19th, hit Earth on July 24th. It arrived embedded in a solar wind stream and made itself known by its magnetic field, which was stronger than that of normal solar wind plasma. And so we've been getting some pretty intense auroras as our magnetic shield is weak. As I said before, Hurricane Douglas is listed at a hurricane with maximum winds 80 sustained and 110 or 100 mile gusts. Its minimum pressure is at 983. So it looks like you guys are in danger, aloha, of getting hit by a hurricane. And it doesn't matter if one person or 1,000 people watch my videos, I'm still going to be giving you guys comprehensive coverage because I like being the best at my job. And so here we have a pretty major storm bearing down on the islands of Hawaii. Hope everyone is safe and prepared. Although I imagine some people are out there trying to surf the waves. Go ahead and get you a stiffy on the backside or whatever. Is that a surfing term? I don't even know. But yeah, it looks like it's pretty much going to be a direct hit somewhere around here would be my guess, although it's probably going to keep lifting north. It might weaken further, but prepare for a hurricane. And speaking of preparing for hurricanes, in the same fashion, I think people all along, well, from Florida to the East Coast should definitely getting prepared for another hurricane 10 days from now. Yeah, sure, there's a chance it's going to go out to sea, but what about 2020 would make you leave your guard down? Oh, look, and there's our skull face right there. You see it? You know, the only thing that makes people let their guards down is politics. when, like political groups are trying to convince you we're in a mini ice age or that Thanos isn't real. These are crazy days ahead, and I hope you had fun the last 2 weeks because those were the easy period. Now it's about to start to get super crazy again until the middle of September. So prepare for the energy to just get weird and escalating up until Mars goes retrograde. That's my plan. You can do whatever you want to do. We're watching the latest GFS model. The GFS and the Euro at 10 days out totally differ. The Euro has Isaias coming through here and then going this way. The GFS now has it pulling a Dorian track and going out that way. So I would probably split the difference, and I would prepare for a hurricane attack. Although, there's a chance that that big beast is not going to hit us. But like I said, at this point, knowing we're getting hit by 2 hurricanes at the end of July, I would prepare for a very wild and wacky hurricane season. But you do you, man. The intensity of 92L will possibly help determine its long-term track. A stronger system will likely feel a forecasted trough in the 6 to 10 day range, while a weaker system could track into the Caribbean or through the Greater Antilles. The door is open for all possibilities. And so, yeah, it's, like I said, it's pretty much, it's going to be a crapshoot, but I got a bad feeling about this one. And so I think everybody from here to here should be prepared. And there's a chance it could slip under. Yep, there's a chance it could go out to sea, but that's just not the way 2020 seems to be going, man. And remember, Elon Musk's worth somehow like tripled during the plague, even though he sells cars. Tracy Alloway. In the midst of the worst economic crisis in decades, a portfolio split evenly between stocks, bonds, cash, and gold is up to 18%. So the people who have definitely been making money in 2020 are the investors. People who have enough money to invest have been kicking ass. But people who survive on unemployment benefit extensions or any help or basic day wages are getting their ass kicked. Because like I've been saying for 8 years, we're in a class war. And I remind you guys again, the GFS literally didn't even draw up Hurricane Hannah until the day before it hit. The GFS said there would be no hurricane, not even a tropical storm, up until the day before it hits. So now that the GFS is magically drawing up some Dorian option, I don't trust it at all. And if you guys have been following with me, I was super laid back on this hurricane season until we got hit by a hurricane. And now all my alarm bells are going off. And so we are going to be watching this, but, out of all the model tracks, there's only 1 or 2 that would suggest it won't be a problem. And then you're going to have some major storms ripping through the middle of the USA, doing some heavy flooding through here. And I did tell everybody that greed would be the dominant force until September. And I said that like a year and a half ago. So I'm sticking by my own timeline since it's been super accurate. All right. So, like I said, we're looking at possible heavy flooding still in South Texas as Hannah moves on. Louisiana, your soul is going to get wet. And then you've got some heavy flooding coming through Kentucky, Tennessee, whatever the state is. And whatever these states are. I don't need to name states. You guys are smart, right? And remember, hurricane season still has months to go. But also remember, I love you and I appreciate you. And I am incredibly grateful because I have cigarettes and energy drinks and electricity and a place to live. Plus, more than 1 people watches, so I love Astro Fight Club. You guys have been with me for a long time. Through my ups and my downs, and you're still here, and I super, super duper appreciate that. And 2018 was the worst year of my life, and 2019 wasn't exactly a fun parade party, and you guys stuck with me through it all, so I love you. Yeah, the oceans are pretty freaking wild, man, and all our eyes are on this, although, plus Douglas, aloha. Oh. So hopefully as things start to improve, I will get to go to Canada one day and eat poutine. The Weather Network, the humid index values at low 40s. Ontario skies are primed for severe thunderstorms Sunday and Monday. So you got some severe possible storms rolling through Ottawa and Bancroft. The Moosonee, which is like where moose were created by God, at the Wapisiskat and Geraldton. Woo! And I love all my weather Twitter nerds. But look at the size of that thing, dude. That is a major storm. It's probably headed up into Alaska, into earthquake territory, but still, that is a giant freaking storm. It's almost the size of the USA. And Dadabu, the Florida Wave Master, real-time water vape, ancient rainbow warrior sign for one of the three pigs. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? So much trouble in the world. Bless my eyes this morning. The sun is on the rise again. The way things are going, anything can happen. So much trouble in this world. I couldn't agree more. And so, like I said, you know, him and Cranky usually put their best information in their arrows, and they don't beat you over the head with it, if you hadn't figured that out yet. So pretty much this is the cone of what I would guess Dadabu is giving us for 92L Isaias. Real-time enhanced infrared. Who wants the over-under on this? Probably a week ago mentioned the island of Hispaniola, known as the Storm Killer, and circumvents over high terrain, disrupting flow, also known sometimes to induce wobbles into a well-defined systems. I mean, this is going to invest will eventually be a major name storm. There's no doubt about it. Now, its track, like the Euro has it track straight over all of these islands, which would tear it up and leave it a mess. But then how strong would it be before it hit like Puerto Rico? We don't know. So, I mean, but if it slips over the islands or it slips under the islands, it could stay strong and get strong. You know what I'm saying? We're still 7 weeks away from peak hurricane season, and another storm is brewing in the deep tropical Atlantic. The ice storm doesn't usually occur until October, but in 2020, it will probably occur in late July. Scaredy-faced emoji, or like, so, yeah, broski and mamski. It's like the GFS nailed crystal ball, and then it's just been failure after failure after failure from the GFS lately. No depiction of a coherent Hannah until yesterday, constantly overestimating Gonzalo, and now this trend for 92L. And this brought to us by Cody Strawberry Fields. Yeah, and so now then, all of a sudden out of nowhere, the GFS just snapped out it, drew up 92L, and has it pulling a Dorian track, which is why I don't trust it at all. It's been handing out misinformation. And in X-Men lore, Mojo Vision likes to torture people for his own enjoyment, which brings me back to Portland. You know, I was doing some research, and did you know like 80% of the people in Portland are white, 2.9% are black. Portland is the 26th biggest state in the USA, although it's gotten all the media attention since we hit 100,000 deaths. Like, for example, Houston has 25% black population and 45% white. So it's just weird that such a white state has been had nonstop protests since we hit 100,000 dead people in the coronavirus. And a reminder, if you want to be like, hey, stick to the weather, I'm going to be like, hey, stick to shutting the fuck up. But I love you. You can go over to the guys who are telling you we're at a mini ice age, you know, or that they know what the sun's going to do for the next 30 years. And then they'll sell you on politicians are great. And that Trump's going to save us all. All right. So this is Popcatepetl volcano. Remember, technically, I don't trust any politicians or any billionaires. I don't know why you would either. Have you not paid attention over the last 20, 30 years? All right. Yeah, so this is Popcatepetl, the most active volcano since 2019, with all the gas giants and all the plants on the same side. We are going to see increased earthquake and volcano activity. That's the beauty of my channel. I get to do what I want, say what I want, you know. But I'm trying to play great defense for people and pull them out of whatever mind control madness they're in. But yeah, dude, we are all the key players that I depend on, including myself, are watching this thing like you wouldn't believe, because it could be a major hurricane that hits the United States in a very populated area within 10 days. You have 10 days warning to get ready. Yesterday, on the edge of Port Mansfield, things calmed enough for me to go to the sea and calibrate my barometer. It's still very rough since I left the cyclone center. Wind is pushing water away from the shore. This is a pretty strong hurricane for Category 1. And so, I mean, it's still going to be dropping rain in parts of South Texas. So yeah, that hurricane made people experience a negative surge. But it's like, man, we've been experiencing negative surges for a long time. I still have faith in the good guys. I just don't know when we'll get our act together. Cranky weather guy, best weatherman on the planet. Another round of increased trough frequency meeting return flow elements of the tropical Atlantic convergence along mid-Atlantic front line. This time, Atlantic Pacific Ridge advanced trough reinforcing of the front begin to set up for the southwest Atlantic steering currents evolving as yet. Yeah, this is all evolving, but like I said, Cranky won't beat you over the head with the information, but him and Dadabu will give you lines that'll give you examples. And so I definitely think everybody needs to watch out, but I think it's going to boom. This is going to be I think this is that storm I predicted I think I was off by a year. So I told everybody it was going to hit one here, and then one here, and then one here, and then one here. And then I think I could totally have been off by 1 year. So this would be the storm that I said was going to hit New Jersey and New York. Now I was wrong last year, but I'm saying now that we've had one hit here and one hit here, there's a good, if you've been with me, we should be watching out for that weird trend analysis, okay? I mean, things have been weird since, the great American eclipse of 2017, and we got another one coming in 2024. Maybe we'll go through the trial of tribulation. Dude, can you imagine getting a massage if you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 girlfriends, and they're all massaging you at the same time? That's the point of this, isn't it? I don't know. Yeah, dude. But yeah, the monsoon is about to get a big kick up, elongated, pancaked high-pressure cells. Been a theme since autumn. Hey, Autumn, what's up? Are you listening? Thinking about you. And was likely to cook us and bring us some strong weather events this summer. Note, some chipping away northern zones with trough activity increases. Note, east of the islands, a window of the monsoon trough distant to climb, or whatever. And so he's got his boom, so he's got the thingy there, and then he's basically saying it's going here. Where we know after that, we don't know, but this high would push it, shoop, I would think. Craig is the weather guy. I'm just the planetary defense commander. And usually if there's major, massive torrential flooding in Japan, then it comes to America. I mean, and China and India. Like, whatever flood season they have eventually comes to us. And so, look at that, dude. This has been totally crazy. And you could guess, are we in weather warfare? I don't know, man. But it's just weird for everybody to be at war with everybody all the time. But look at that. It's the whole thing about people saying, like, the plague is fake. And then people be like, floods are fake. I don't know. People always call stuff fake gate. It's just whatever. Nihilists. Alex Lubbers pulling us out of the druthers. Euro still showing some signs of a potentially active start to the August part of monsoon 2020. So fingers crossed if you like lightning and rain in the southwest. Dude, I'm dropping excellent science all over your brain. Yeah, Popcatepetl is still smoking just like a dragon. You know what I'm saying? Where will the next big earthquake hit? I don't know. I would guess we'll see an 8 or larger earthquake this year. That's been my guess for a while. Look, that dude's getting a massage, but just by 2 hands, which seems not as efficient as 20 hands at Popcatepetl. Yeah, our diving northeast quadrant ahead of the tumbling ridge brings northern New England storms today. To the south of the Bahamas, disturbance and remnant boundaries team up with heavy rainfall for South Carolina and North Carolina. Monsoon trough and remnant tropical cyclone taps around the high. Our trough picks up. Shout out to George in the Carolinas. He saved my ass several times last year, and I will always thank you for that. John Diggity Dawson tracking Hannah for us as it moves past Brownsville and into Mexico. How do you say wet in Spanish? Yeah, rainfall continues as the primary impact event. Note the Gulf flow across the coast to the east. The system itself douses northeast Mexico. Sierra Madre drowning continues. So nobody's bogarting the rain. Treasure of Sierra Madre was a movie with Humphrey Bogart. You know? Because he wanted all the gold, and the gold drove him crazy. Which I think is where my theory that gold drives people crazy came from. It has like a weird frequency to it, so I don't know, I've never really liked gold. Silver seems okay, though. Silver seems pretty cool. Yeah, Louisiana, you're on watch. For you dorks in the northeast, the next ridge is tumbling along, bringing out hot weather returns. The break puts pressure against the old boundary to the south, more heavy rainfall. Northeast quadrant sagging to chase the break. Our new disturbance sags into northern England. Northern New England, trough on the way from the west. Yeah, so he said it's sustained gusting 70 plus, but he hasn't called it a hurricane yet. I don't know if he's going to. Check out this absolutely incredible, stunning footage of a tornado near Northampton, United Kingdom. I am speaking of Cockney. Ooh, there's a debris ball, although it's not in an actual ball form. In your face. And I thought protests were dumb for a long time. Like, do you remember when everybody protested Wall Street and Occupy Wall Street? That didn't do anything. Protests don't really lead to stuff. I know it's not a popular opinion, but I'm just saying. It seems like a super waste of energy, dude. I think I'll try and keep all my crushes local now. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I want you guys to have a very wonderful day. You are super, you are fantastic. And I've got your eyes on the oceans. That's the thing, a bunch of people were racing to the gas station like the day of Hannah. And so you got 10 days to prepare from Florida all the way up to Vermont. And we are in a plague scenario. So evacuations would be weird. Heavy rain, people coming. But notice how the rain tracking over. This is going to create some heavy flooding rainfall stuff. Oh, the flood map is broken. It's hard to believe that there are only 12 flooding, especially if it would only be 2 in Texas. I don't buy that for a minute. I should kind of end this video before I start singing the Pina Colada song. But there's 92L. See, there's still heavy rainfall over South Texas in that big chunk. There's got to be a lot of rivers flooding. Aloha, a hurricane coming at you. Winding up for the punch. Yeah, dude, there's majorly massive flooding rain happening over here. And eventually that switches to over here. So if you like pina coladas, oh, gotta go. God bless everyone. Stay cool. I'll probably talk to y'all soon.